Hi there, I'm Shane Spiers and welcome to another edition of Scaling for Growth, beaming out to you from the beautiful city of Bath in the UK. My guest today is Donald Kelly. Donald, a very warm welcome. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I'm appreciative of being a guest on your wonderful podcast and being able to share some insights. So thank you.
Brilliant. Looking forward to it. For those of you that don't know him, Donald has a belief that anyone can sell if they have the desire. Early on in his sales career, Donald struggled with sales, but through the proper training and coaching, he became a top performing seller. He has since taken it upon himself to evangelize the message of effective selling to new and struggling salespeople and entrepreneurs close more deals. Donald hosts a popular sales podcast called the Sales Evangelist, easy for me to say. He works with small companies in developing effective sales processes, and as well as training their teams, he is an award-winning sales and motivational speaker. And when he's not training, speaking or selling, he loves spending time with his family in South Florida. Brilliant. So Donald, the title of our interview today is 5 Reasons Why Most Sellers Never Make It. And we're 5 minutes for the interview. If you're ready, I'll set the clock. Let's go.
All right.
So, who would you define as a new seller?
New sellers are pretty much anyone that's been selling for about less than a year, or even sometimes up to 3 years. I've seen salespeople who've been in, you see sometimes sellers or entrepreneurs that's been selling for a long time, but they only have 1 year of experience, meaning they were only trained or only went on the thing that they first were taught and never continued to educate themselves. So they're selling on this 1 year of experience and they're still new. They're still struggling. They're not hitting quota or they're not progressing. Right. But a lot of times when people come to us, they're just getting into a job and they need some guidance.
Okay. And so why do they have such a hard time?
The main thing some of the 5 things that we have, one of the things is they don't necessarily have a process. They don't know how to go about. I'm speaking from my experience, Shane. So yep. I was working in companies where they just threw you in, like jump in and go figure it out, go swim, find customers, right? Yeah. Without a process, I don't know how to bring somebody into the company. I don't know what to say to them. I don't know how to reach them. I don't know how to find them. So we waste a lot of time. And what happens, sellers get burnt out. And then they say, well, this is not working, become depressed and go run to the next job. And the same cycle continues without process. Right. So that's one. And then number 2, they don't know who's the ideal customer. The company itself never identified who is going to be a best fit for the organization, much less how a seller coming in to go do that. It doesn't work. Yeah.
So process and identifying the ideal client right up front are so important. So that structure. And so you tell your story. What do you have personal experience with this?
Oh my goodness, do I? I worked in several small organizations, and there were either friends or family members of mine, friends of mine. And one of the things they always told me was, "You have such a great personality. You're outgoing. You could be great at sales." And that's what we came in as the differentiator. And that's not necessarily a differentiating factor. That's not going to make anyone become a great seller or to close deals. And I went into a company. I remember one organization I went into. It was just crazy. It was a startup, but it was like a 10-year startup that never ever got up. Right. The sales manager wasn't a sales manager. She's never really sold professionally in her life. She was put in a position to oversee the sales and also operation of the organization. And with that, we were trying to go after different kind of clients. We're trying to go for corporate clients, as well as we're going after a dentist, a solo practice dentist. Right. That's a whole different process, whole different way of going at it. Yeah. And eventually, what happened was the company folded, and all of us were let go, and it was sad. If they had a direct path, direct process, if I did know now. If I know then what I know now, it would have been a whole different game, and I guarantee it would probably have been a little bit more successful. But I was naive, and I didn't know, and the tuition was expensive, but the education was great.
Yeah. And so on that, how did you develop your own skills in this area and processes?
Yeah, I went into training. I went and got training, and that's probably the third point I would want to emphasize. I went to an organization that they brought me in as they saw the energy, they saw the untamed passion that I had, and they tamed that, and they guided me and showed me how to find customers, what to look for in an ideal customer. They put us through a training program for about 6 weeks, and it was fantastic. This was my performance. And then all of a sudden I started closing deals, and I realized there wasn't this mighty Oz, this figmentive idea of, that you have to be this elusively perfect seller to close a deal. The process was very simple, and anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that you need to have.
Yeah. And so what's your message to sales leaders now? How can they address this?
One of the biggest message I give to sales leaders is that you need to take time. If you give it to your sellers to figure it out on their own, they're never going to succeed. You need to help guide them and coach. Many organizations, I'm telling you, man, don't even think about the idea of coaching. They don't do that because they're so busy doing busy admin work and doing reports that they don't engage with the seller. If we were to flip the funnel or flip the process and try to figure out a way to put off less administrative tasks and focus more on coaching and being mentors to our sellers, those sellers will perform better, and it's going to make our job and our admin work much easier. That make sense then to hire somebody else to do some of those little admin tasks that the manager would be tasked with, and focus on growing and helping the sales team to develop. If you don't train them, they're going to stay and they're going to suck, and they might cumber up your process. You're going to get frustrated. Yeah. Why not take the time and train and motivate and counsel and coach them and help them become performers and continue to have that culture of growth throughout the organization, helping each other succeed.
Brilliant. Brilliant, Donald. That's brilliant. We've come to the end of the time. What's the best way to stay in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way to stay in touch with me, actually, we have a thing we've created on prospecting. I know many entrepreneurs and sellers are trying to figure out a way how they can prospect. They just have to go to the salesevangelist.com/summit scale. The salesevangelist.com/summit scale. And they'll get the download that we created. It gives some basic points about prospecting and how you can find more effective customers, the whole thing that we typically go through with some of our customers.
Brilliant. Appreciate that. We'll put that link below the video. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Great insights.
Anytime, man.
Thanks for checking out our Summit Scale podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes and subscribe, rate us and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to learn more about the work we do or are looking for a load of free resources to help with scaling your business, check out our website, www.summitleader.com.